In the last episode, we made a contraption that made a ball roll uphill against gravity. And if you found that hard to believe, well, you're in good company. Einstein didn't think that could happen either. So why does it happen? To start to understand, you can actually do a simpler version of the experiment yourself. You just use a flat spinning surface like a record player. And you'll need a bouncy ball. Now, hopefully you can find a record player since they're cool again now, unless you're using it for a physics experiment, in which case it's extra cool. Just take your ball, and what do you think is gonna happen if I put it right here on the record player?
I know what my intuition is. I expect it to fly off.
The ball doesn't go flying out. Instead, it begins to move in a circle. It even starts to move in toward the center, almost like it's on some sort of circular treadmill. Maybe if I could find a way to play with a bunch of treadmills at a gym, it could help me understand. So we're here at the gym to figure out something a little simpler. What happens when you put a ball on a straight treadmill? What happens is there'll be friction on the bottom of the ball from the belt, and it'll cause it to roll. But as it loses energy, the ball starts to move toward the back of the treadmill. So let's try it. Check out what happens when the ball falls off the back of the treadmill. Friction between the bottom of the ball and the floor makes the ball roll forward opposite to the direction that the treadmill is moving. All right, so how from this can we make a treadmill ring, something a little more like our record player? We can build a ring with a bunch of treadmills. We only have 4, so this will have to do. All right, let's try it. Just like with the record player, the ball goes in circles. It even seems to spiral in toward the center. So why does the ball do this and not fall off at the corners? Well, if we look at one corner, when the ball falls off the end of one treadmill, it lands on a second treadmill that's going perpendicular. And just like when it fell off and landed on the ground, there is still a frictional force that'll pull the ball back toward that original treadmill. But the second treadmill is moving, so it exerts an additional frictional force pulling this way. So at the corner, these two frictional forces add together and create a force that's pushing toward the center of the treadmill ring. Similarly, at each corner, there's an inward force, and that inward force keeps the ball moving in circles and can even make it spiral in toward the center. And that's what's happening on the record player. The record is sort of like an infinite number of treadmills in a circle, and at every corner, and since it's a circle, everywhere is a corner, so everywhere there's an inward force pulling the ball toward the center, and so it can move in a circle, it can even spiral in toward the center. Okay, so why is this inward force special, and what does it have to do with a ball rolling uphill contrary to all your experience? So usually when something is sliding or rolling downhill, the frictional force, which pushes back resisting the sliding of the skis, is less than the force of gravity downward, which is why the thing just keeps going downhill. What's special here is that if you turn up the speed of the treadmills or turn up the rotational speed of the record player, you can actually increase that inward frictional force so much that if we tilt the sides of the record player so it starts to look more like a cone, then we can actually have it spinning fast enough so that inward force, that thing that makes it spiral in toward the center, is stronger than the pull of gravity pulling the ball down, and the ball can actually spiral uphill, and you have an anti-gravity cone. So what's really cool about this is we didn't use any fancy physics like quantum or relativity. It was just Newton's laws of motion. They've been around for 300 years, yet here's this new thing that nobody's seen before. And it sort of gives me hope that if maybe one day we'll find the theory of everything, some theory that explains all of physics, well, will physicists just be done? Is there nothing else to discover? Well, there will be, because even if you know the laws, there are cool phenomena to see, new things to see. So I think we'll never be done with physics, and as a physicist, that makes me pretty happy. And if you want more What the Physics, please subscribe and hit that little bell button so you get notifications when new episodes come out.